Hi guys, I'm super excited to be having a conversation with Mr. Sagar Singh. He is the co-founder of Going Zero and he's also the co-founder of Eco Warriors, which is a community of like-minded people who work together to preserve the environment. He has planted over 4,000 trees and he's also a social science teacher who spreads awareness about rainwater harvesting among students. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for taking the time out and having this conversation with me.
Expressing my deepest gratitude towards you and the entire medical team and towards our viewers for giving this time to watch this particular episode, I would say. And more than that, I express my deepest gratitude for everything you've been doing from past couple of years considering pandemic.
Thank you so much.
And yes, so thank you for inviting me on this show and giving me opportunity to talk about climate change, sustainability, and everything which is interlinked with our and every life on this planet.
Right, sir. So without further ado, I'll just dive right into the questions. So
Sure.
the first question I want to ask you is what motivated you to become interested in climate change activism?
So basically, I'm into astronomy as well. Okay, when you look at this beautiful planet, like when you zoom out and you look at this planet, I'll tell you, like there are million, billion, trillion other planets as well. They are completely dead. I mean, there is no life out there. So I mean, the whole point is out there, the whole universe is dead, at least till now, and there is something beautiful has happened over here on this beautiful rock planet. Okay, but then what really happened is, between all of this, if you see, the whole natural cycle works in a way, trees takes it from the root. Okay, they bear the fruits, and when the fruit goes back to the ground again, the seed goes back to the ground again, it becomes a tree. So the whole cycle is completed. It's there in the nature in all form, whether you call it an insect, an animal. They make sure they complete the whole cycle, whether it's food chain or a chain. But this is the one species who has disrupted the whole of the ecosystem. And once your ecosystem is collapsing, okay, you realize that, if your rivers are polluted or it's poisoned, okay, so obviously that leads to water crisis. It's going to affect us. If your air is being polluted, it leads to what? I mean, everybody and people in Delhi, they know what happened. So it's simple way, whatever we are doing to the outer world, we are doing it to ourselves. So there is no separation. We are all connected to the same web of light, and we are all sharing same consciousness. Once you realize this, okay, then you actually feel this compulsion to do something, not only for a human. I mean, humans, yes, because we have our voices. We can always raise our voices, but there are voiceless different species out there, and we are supposed to live in coexistence. We are supposed to share this whole planet, whole space with them. So once they are gone, a part of us will die with them. So it's very much important, to at least this generation to keep a balance. And every individual, right now, this what I'm doing is planting a seed of conscience in every individual's mind who are watching this episode.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think it's very unfair that all the organisms on the earth are facing the brunt of our actions. So I think it's high time we do something about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So there has been basically 5 mass extinction on this planet, 5 great mass extinction, out of one of which the dinosaurs went extinct. The last fifth mass extinction, okay, the 90% of the species went extinct. So the extinction phase comes in every, after millennia. But then point is this period, while we are having this conversation, this period is called as sixth mass extinction. The sixth mass extinction has started, and in last 40 years, more than 60% of the species have went extinct. So this is the first time in the human history or the history of planet when one species is actually deciding the fate of other species. Okay,
Right.
so the whole ecosystem is collapsing. The species are going extinct. USA. So few developed countries and also developing countries like India also rank in those top 5 countries, which is the largest carbon emitter. This whole population needs to be conscious because this will, decide the fate not only of we as a humans, but also the fate of the whole planet. But most of the people say like, we need to save the planet. To be honest, the earth was there during the hotter times, during the colder times. It was there with the dinosaurs, without dinosaurs, with humans, without humans. So it's not about the planet, it's about our existence, okay?
That's really frightening. I hope people watch this and wake up and realize how important this is to deal with. And yeah, the next question I want to ask is that developing countries like India, they find it hard to strike a balance between development and protecting the environment. So what are your views on this, and how do you think they can achieve this balance?
How, when the youth become conscious of what's happening in the country, you create a kind of, not pressure, but then you create a kind of awareness that government implement such policies which creates a balance of sustainable development. Like Chandigarh is a beautiful example where when the cities are planned, you know how cities can function. It's perfectly planned city.
Exactly.
It's a balance with the nature and yeah. So that's how it is.
Right, sir. And speaking about the COVID-19 pandemic, it has led to so many disastrous effects on us as humans. But how do you think it has affected global warming and climate change?
Not really, to be honest and blunt. Like when we talk about climate, see, there's a difference between weather and climate. Weather is day-to-day phenomena. Like when I say I'm going out, it's raining. By the time it's evening, it's hot. And by the time it's night, it's cold. So it's the weather which is changing. Climate is just something like it's an accumulation of 25-year data, okay? So the whole global Earth temperature, which has been rising, it's accumulation of last 25 years. So the carbon emission, let's assume, which was done like 25 years ago or 100 years ago, it's still there in our atmosphere, okay? So it will take another 1,000 years to get down to the normal level. But still, whatever, let's assume just one single year, we don't really, we stop the carbon emission.
Right.
But then, still, it's like, what do you say? It's on very micro level, what we have done in last 100 years after Industrial Revolution or 150 years. So people do say like pandemic has created something positive. But I, being very honest and blunt, when it's come to climate, not really on the larger scale. Because 70% of the electricity which we produce in India, it's coal powered. So again, we are back to coal. So yeah, we learn from history that we learn nothing from history. So we keep on repeating the same mistakes over and over, and we keep on digging our own graveyards.
Very true. And sir, speaking about that, we hear about so many renewable sources of energy like wind energy, solar energy, hydrostatic energy. So where do you, among these renewable sources of energy, where do you think our future lies? And do you think that we can completely replace fossil fuels with these?
Now, I don't think now. It won't happen now, but it will take slow and steady transition to reach towards clean energy, because like developed countries has those technology, but then developing country needs it at the same time. The transfer of technology, at the same time we need that infrastructure as well. So like, like pandemic has taught her the way digitalization has worked in India. Like it hardly took 1 year and everything has become so digitalized. Similar, like because economy was basically collapsing. So we need similar kind of panic situation where we actually move towards clean energy. Until and unless that happens, I mean, everything would go at the same pace. We can do what on an individual level. It's at the same time making people conscious, and at the same time, people tomorrow among us who becomes part of the policy making thing, they should make the right choices.
Right, sir. And also, for us as ordinary citizens, what are the things that we must do from this day onwards to ensure that we are helping to reduce global warming?
Look, I mean, first thing, one needs to be conscious about what we are consuming. So one simple question I ask, whenever you are buying, okay, where it is coming from. Whatever you buy, just ask this one question: where it is coming from, and where it will go once you're done using. So let's assume I have to talk about this T-shirt. Okay, one T-shirt takes like 20,000 liters of water to make it. Okay, and let's assume what happens, we keep on buying a lot of clothes, but we don't even realize the clothes which we have in our cupboard, we don't even wear all the clothes.
Right.
The profits are made by some of the huge corporations, and these huge corporations, like textile is the second largest polluter of water bodies in the world. So a country like India, which is blessed with a lot of water bodies and rivers, is suffering from severe water crisis because of the pollution and depletion of your groundwater.
Right.
So that's how I said in the initially when we started this meeting, this country need to be conscious because the population, the country will be the largest populated country in the world. If it is unconscious, it would be tragic not only for this nation, but also the boundaries will disappear. I mean, the COVID has taught us there are no boundaries. We have created it. Okay, so I mean, it will lead to collapse of everything around us.
Right. So I think people need to realize that they should only buy what they need and not what they want. I think that if people can understand, then there'll be a huge positive change. The thing is that because climate change is such a gradual process, people don't understand the gravity of the ill effects that it can cause in the long run, and they feel like it doesn't affect them because it's such a gradual process. So what is your message to those people who have that mindset?
Like if you look at India, it's surrounded three sides by the water bodies. Now, Arabian Sea never had a cyclone ever in history, like it was very low, but then now Arabian Sea is experiencing cyclone. That's happening with the warming of oceans. As the ocean temperature rises, cyclone will any which ways, it will be more and more. Hurricane, tornado will be more in the rest of the world. So yes, it would be just like pandemic. If you see, the rich people became more rich because the difference between the rich and poor widened up because of this pandemic. So since they had money, it was vacation for them. It's like more a family time for them. But the poor, we all know like how people from Mumbai walked all the way from their home. Some people died on the way. Some people starved to death. Climate change will only affect the lower income group because in the first place, inflation rate will go high. When the food production will be affected, when the rainfall pattern will be affected, when there would be cyclones, when there would be more floods. Okay, look like in Chiplun or what's happening in Maharashtra. Who is getting affected? Are these politicians? No, right? Are these billionaires? No, right? Or even like upper middle class. Even if you have a house there, a decent money over there, you can still always move from there to city somewhere else to take your family. But lower income group, you don't have an option. So that's how, and there are climate refugees already in different parts of the country. It's just that this severity and nobody's talking about it, and nobody wants to know it because people think it's negative. But it's like I'm showing the mirror. This is who you are, and this is what we are going and what we are doing. And yes, so obviously when this collapses, then healthcare system collapses, and that's where beautiful and kind humans like you come into the picture selflessly. I mean, being there, working day and night, thinking to fix the whole system. But it's somewhere needs to be fixed from up, because it starts from there, and then we are somewhere in the bottom layer who are actually trying to fix this system.
Yes, so I hope that people watch this video and they realize how important the situation is and how they need to take action right away from this minute onwards. So unfortunately, my questions have come to an end. And I absolutely love this conversation. It taught me so much. And meeting a beautiful human like yourself was such a privilege for me.
I mean, I'm just trying to be kind to every kind. And this is the need of an hour.
I really hope people watch this video and wake up.
People who have to wake up, they will. It's like some seeds always remain dormant no matter how much water you put. Only few seeds will germinate. So this video is for everybody, but only few will germinate. Few individuals will germinate from inside.
Right, sir. So thank you so much. This was such an amazing talk. I really loved it. I loved every minute of it, and it taught me so much.
Thank you. Expressing my deepest gratitude.